Hello and welcome to Clever News. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. In the news, Nigeria says it is not in any way near a debt crisis. Drama at Bauchi Police Training College as candidates imperiled lists of newly recruited personnel report for training. Northern Ireland legalizes same-sex marriage and abortion. Nigeria is not in any way near a debt crisis despite debts of $81.27 billion, representing about 24.947 trillion naira. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed made this known at a two-day public hearing on the 2020 appropriation bill convened by the Joint Senate and House Committees Appropriation. Correspondent Aniete Patrick Casmo.
She explained that despite the debt profile, the country's total borrowing was 20% of its gross domestic product (GDP). The minister said the budget deficit of 2.7 trillion naira in 2020 is to be financed mainly by borrowing.
Budget deficit is to be financed mainly by borrowing, and the borrowing includes both the domestic as well as foreign borrowing. We have heard repeatedly that Nigeria is aging into a debt crisis, and we have consistently said that Nigeria does not have a debt crisis. Our total borrowing today is just under 20% of our GDP, while the multilateral institutions project for an economy our size to borrow up to 50 to 55% of our GDP. What we have is a revenue problem. Our revenue performance by half year is 58%.
In their opening remarks, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, said the move to return to a January to December budget cycle will allow for proper planning and implementation.
The Ninth National Assembly is committed to correcting this anomaly in budget cycle. As legislators, we have set out to be exemplary in the fulfillment of core functions, which includes legislation, representation, and oversight. We are hopeful that the budget will be passed before we go on Christmas break, by the grace of God. But we are also determined to ensure that when the budget is passed, it is properly implemented. And in that regard, we'll carry and conduct our oversights properly and very well.
It's actually stipulated in the Constitution that the financial year of the country shall be January to December or any other time that's prescribed by the National Assembly. But if you look at the language of the Constitution, it means what it is actually saying is yes, that or any other time presupposes that maybe there's a reason why you are unable to. But in the main, what is expected is that it will be January, December. Now, this allows for proper planning, proper implementation, as opposed to what has obtained for some time when budget is passed.
The public hearing is to reflect the various inputs of stakeholders before the passage of the budget. Anita Patrick reporting for Clearview Television.
A judge of the Federal High Court, Akure, Justice Abdul Dogo, has been kidnapped. Justice Dogo was abducted on Tuesday by unknown gunmen while returning to Akure from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. His kidnappers have made contact with the family, demanding a 50 million naira ransom for his release. Clevy Television shall bring you updates on this developing story. And who really are the prospective candidates that have been recruited to join the Nigeria Police Force? This is the question Nigerians will have to wait a little bit longer to get an answer to, as separate groups of supposedly recruited candidates have reported for training at the police training school in Bauchi. Our correspondent has an update and the unending controversy over the recruitment exercise ordered by President Muhammadu Buhari to address internal security challenges in various parts of the country.
Confusion set in as candidates from Yobe, Zamfara, Niger, and Gombe states were denied access into the police training school in Bauchi. The applicants have spent 2 days at the gate of the training school. The candidates say they were in Bauchi on the invitation of the Nigerian police force for training.
Honestly speaking, we have order from the federal government since 19th of this month, October, say we should go and report at the training school, Bauchi. Now there is no any official or any genuine reason was given for the delay of the training.
Our names have appeared since last Monday. They said we people should report on 21st of this month. So you come here day before yesterday.
The controversies over the police recruitment has lingered for months, despite intervention by the chairman of the Police Service Commission.
Also, we are calling the federal government so that to look this matter seriously, to call Police Service Commission and Nigerian Police to sit down on table to reconcile this matter.
We are from far. Some of us are from Niger, some from Zamfara. Me, I'm from Yobe. And I'm telling you now, I don't even have transport to go back. No feeding, no accommodation. Now, so we are sleeping by the roadside.
However, in a press release signed by DCP Frank Mba, First Public Relations Officer, the Nigerian police indicated that the authenticated list of the successful candidates will be officially released to prospective candidates who are trapped in the recruitment crisis. He expressed hope that the federal government will intervene to address this matter once and for all.
And will the Nigerian government's campaign to promote the consumption of local rice receive the much needed impetus it deserves? This question becomes pertinent as the Nigeria Customs Service uncovers a warehouse in Yola South, a local government area of Adamawa State, which is engaged in rebagging imported foreign for sale as locally produced rice. At least 900 bags of such transformed rice with a duty paid value of 14.5 million naira have been uncovered in the Adamawa Taraba axis. A correspondent has the details.
The Comptroller of Customs in charge of Adamawa and Taraba States Command, Kamaldi Olumo, says the perpetrators were caught rebagging foreign rice meant to be sold as local rice in Yola South, local government of Adamawa State.
They have opened all. They will repackage all this into local bags, local packaging, so that when customs on the way, perhaps across them, they will tell you that these are local rice.
In a similar van, a truck loaded with foreign rice covered with bags of other grains was apprehended along the Mobile-Yola Road with paid value of 10.3 million naira. To intensify this effort towards the fight against rice smuggling, the comptroller has reviewed plans to raid the Yola ultramodern market to rid the state of imported rice.
In fact, we held a meeting yesterday with the leadership of Yola Market Association, where we are planning in conjunction with other securities, and we may raid the market. Anybody seen displaying a single bag of imported rice will be made to face the law.
The comptroller, however, assures Nigerians that the Nigerian custom is on top gear to rid smugglers in the country.
The arrested serial killer Gracious David West, who says he derives joy from killing women after luring them to hotel rooms for a night of romance and sex, has been arraigned before a state high court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. David West, who pleaded guilty to 9 out of the 10-count charges bordering on rape and robbery by deception as well as murder, is being represented by defense counsel. The presiding judge, Justice Adolphus Inebeli, after taking the suspect's guilty plea, adjourned further hearing on the matter to November 18. We have the details.
The crime, which contravenes Section 319 of the Rivers State Criminal Code Act 37, Volume 2 of the 1999 Constitution, was read out to the arraigned suspect to take his plea, wherein he pleaded guilty to 9 charges which to punishment, but the presiding judge, Justice Abefolos Enebili, entered not guilty as the law presumes his innocence until a concrete evidence is presented before the court by the State Prosecution Council, who took over the matter from the officer in charge of legal at the Rivers State Police Command.
It's actually directed upon the application from a lawyer from the Ministry of Justice, the PP's office. He made an application to take over, and the court granted. It is a constitutional right. At the same time, we also made it clear too that we have prosecutorial power.
Counsel to the defendant, Vincent Chukwu, while reacting to the court's decision, said his clients deserved the pronouncement by the trial judge, which declared him innocent despite his plea.
That is elementary law. It is because it is a capital offense. Whether you did it or not, the presumption is that the prosecution should prove their case beyond reasonable doubt.
On his part, the State Prosecution Counsel, Chidi Eke, said they are prepared to proceed with the trial as it is the duty of the state to protect its citizens.
We'll consider that case a very sensitive one that the state should not ignore, considering the fact that all the people they've killed, apart from the fact that they were from River State, they are human beings, and the state has the responsibility to protect the citizens.
The Prosecution Council is expected to open its case on the 18th of November 2019 and close by the 4th of December to pave way for the defense.
And Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has commended his Rivers State counterpart Nyesom Wike for always striving hard to deliver on his electoral promises to the people. Governor Makinde, who once lived in Port Harcourt, says Governor Wike has lived up to his billing as Minister projects, given the ongoing massive transformation the Garden City. As our correspondent now reports, the Oyo State Governor gave the commendation while flagging off the construction of a flyover bridge at Rumwogba in Obioa Akpo local government area of Rivers State.
The governor of Oyo State, Oluseyi Makinde, has always been seen Rivers State as his second home. This time around, Engineer Makinde has been invited to flag off the construction of the flyover bridge at Rumogba Junction, one of the 3 flyover bridges to be constructed simultaneously by construction giants. Measuring 507.5 meters, the Rumogba Junction flyover bridge will open and connect different parts of the state, easy flow of traffic as well as facilitating economic growth.
We have paid Julius Berger 70% of the project money. This project has nothing to do with weather. If you say rain, I paid you under rainy season. So you too, you must work under rainy season.
I'm very happy that with this flyover project in Rivers State, Governor Wike has given clear indication of what he wants to do, how long it will take, and what he has done to ensure that the project takes its course. Paying 70% upfront means no variation.
Highlighting the transformation taking place in Rivers State, Governor Makinde, who once lived in Port Harcourt, applauded his friend and colleague for keeping to his promise made to his people.
In his first time in office, he did well in road construction, and that is why, even up till now, he is still Mr. Project himself.
Don't go and tell me you don't have Rivers people who can supply sand. You don't have Rivers who can supply chippy. I don't want to hear that. Employ our Rivers people, because part of this thing is to create employment.
Governor Makinde and his Rivers State counterparts became state chief executives on the platform of the People's Democratic Party.
You're watching Clearview Television News. We'll be back after this time out.
This used to be me. But that was before I got the perfect bag. It's handy and easy to use. All I need in one compact space, just like my MTN Extra Value plan. I used to get one plan for my calls and then try to remember which data plan worked for me. Roaming was a totally different ballgame. Not anymore. I've got the MTN Extra Value all-in-one plan. If you're a data buff like me, you get extra data with some talk time. And if you like to make calls, you get extra talk time with some data. And when I'm abroad, I automatically browse, chat, and call right on the same plan. MTN Extra Value was made just for me.
More of data or calls, whichever one you prefer. MTN Extra Value is made just for you.
Welcome back. The Chairman Board of Trustees of the Ibira Muslim Community College, Okekwe, Sule Aliyu, has commended the efforts of members of the school's alumni in maintaining high learning standard in the school. Aliyu, who gave the commendation during a gathering to mark the school's 40th anniversary equally, had kind words for the state government for what he described as its commitment to human capital development. Correspondent has more.
Igbira Muslim Community College, Okenkwe, was established in 1979 by the late Adamu Atta administration of the old Kwara State, which Kogi State was carved out from. The school has produced thousands of graduates, out of who a group came together to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the school's establishment. A number of the old students gathered included members of the school's first set. They called on other former students of the school to join them in their efforts to take the school to greater heights.
The school needs a lot of rehabilitation. We have dilapidated classrooms, a lot of projects. They needed a vehicle also. We are struggling also. We have a staff bus in those days and it's gone now also. So we are praying to Almighty to give us the power to be able to do more, to provide most of their needs. And we want the government to come to this school and help to provide most of the infrastructure because only us cannot do it alone.
The aiming percentage that came here today to rejoice with us at 40. Now, it's good for them. They've seen the school and they promise that they will renovate the school. You know, the government have been very appreciative of this development and they are in very much cooperating with us, the board, to ensure that this place has facelift all the way. All I want is to be the best.
The current principal of the school and some of his predecessors narrated some notable past experiences and outlined their demands.
And those we employ they are not qualified because they were not trained to teach. But we are only managing them. So if government can come to our aid, we have so many subject areas that we don't have teachers. They can come to our aid. Shortage of teachers will lead to students going about because there will be too many free periods. When there will be no teacher in the class, what do you want them to do? They go about, loiter about. The government should make sure that they improve and they recruit well qualified staff to the school.
The Governor Yaya Adoza Bello, is equally developmental. He is interested in things like this. That is why I know if I have opportunity to meet with him, I will enjoy him to invest in this school. He has been doing it too, but I just want his presence here.
We used to have around 350 sitting for WAEC, so it was not that it's not conducive enough to write external exams. So if anybody can give us help, we encourage the person to please create a very nice exam hall.
The students were not left out of the celebration.
I want them to grant the students a good learning facility. The library should be open at all times so that students can learn more.
So I want them to build our lab. I'm so happy and glad because my school is 40 years.
We are lacking of teachers.
Meritorious awards were given to key personalities, teachers, past and present principals.
We are indeed very grateful. I've been a good teacher to this college. That's why I'm recognized for this award. And it's my prayer that the school will continue to grow from strength to strength.
It's a good development that the old students are coming back to impact on the development of the school and to make sure that the school continues to grow from strength to strength.
The family of His Royal Highness Dr. Bello Asuku Ibrahim. He was the late Tohi of Adave, and at the same time, he was the pioneer principal of this great institution. I mean, what I discover in this award is that good name is better than riches.
I'll call the attention of every other stakeholders to make sure that at least they contribute a lot to the development of this school.
To mark the anniversary, the groundbreaking for a 250-seating capacity hall, examination hall, commission of completed block of classrooms, staff rooms, and motorist borehole. Amongst dignitaries, representative of Okene Ogori Mongogo constituency, Tijani Damisa, chief clerk of the National Assembly, represented traditional rulers and politicians.
Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has been speaking on the role of culture as a unifying tool for promoting national unity, addressing the opening ceremony of the 32nd National Festival of Arts and Culture at the University of Benin Sports Complex in Benin City, Edo State. Governor Obaseki stressed the need for all Nigerians to also give priority to developing and promoting the various cultures of the diverse ethnic groups in the country. Our correspondent reports that this year's festival has our royalty, our pride as its theme.
Edo State, the home of culture, played host to thousands of Nigerians from the 6 geopolitical zones who turned out in their numbers to grace the National Festival of Art and Culture, where the beauty of Nigeria is being displayed.
The Edo women are looking so radiant. Delta State is a sister state to Edo State.
Everybody is significant. Culture can put food on the table of millions. Lagos in 1970 to Ibadan in 1970. Edo State is truly in the
Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki and the Director General, National Council for Art and Culture, Olusegun Rishewe, stressed the importance of culture to the society.
This festival is a bond of unity for Nigeria. Culture is a mode for uniting our people. With culture, Nigeria gets better united. God loves Nigeria. There is no need for us to disagree. The military, the civilian, everybody together, Nigerians shall be great again.
There was also a performance by the Presidential Guards Brigade.
Competent female officers and soldiers poised to take effective action in support of all Nigerian Army operational engagements.
The National Festival of Art and Culture remains one of the major cultural festivals that serves as a great platform for showcasing the talent and project values of our heritage, as well as develop the spirit of national identity.
The only way to tackling the scourge of breast cancer in Nigeria is to carry out more aggressive enlightenment campaign and increase access to medical care to women. This is the candid advice of some survivors of breast cancer who say they were able to overcome the scourge by having access to the right information. This is this at stakeholders gathered for the 2019 Jog for Life Breast Cancer Awareness Campaign in Akure, the Ondo State capital.
Jog for Life is an annual event organized by Breast Cancer Association of Nigeria (BRECAN) to stimulate actions against the disease through public awareness in support for victims. Jog for Life is also a period meant to showcase survivors as a way of giving hope to others who are still battling breast cancer. At the event in Akure, the Ondo State capital, was a breast cancer survivor, Fumilayo Oluwagbamila, who said, "Access to right information remains the best way to fight the menace."
We beat breast cancer. When I was diagnosed, 2014, I've had reoccurrence like twice, but I beat it. Each time it comes, I beat it because I know what to do. The first thing to do is to go to the hospital.
Wife of the state governor, Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, who observed that breast cancer has largely been killing women as a result of ignorance, urged them to seek medical attention and stop seeing it as spiritual attack.
Nigerian women bring rotten breasts to the hospital. Some of them, they carry them on wheelchair, on stretcher, because the cancer has gone all over them, affected all organs. So when people say that is a death sentence, we are saying it's not true. It's because our women are not doing the right thing at the right time.
This year Jog for Life awareness, which kicked off at Nepa Market, took participants to Akerele and Isiko Market before stopping at Democracy Park in Akure.
And the Federal Executive Council has approved the award of contract for the procurement and installation of communications equipment and absolute control kotor for control towers in Daria and Katsina for a total sum is 1.71 billion naira.
The total contract sum is 1,701,460,196 naira and 10 kobo. Of course, it includes value added tax. And the completion period is for 8 months. This is to address safety critical issues. So, in such a way that there will be better communications and there will be more efficiency within the control towers in Zaria and Katsina. And this is ongoing, similar to what we have done in other airports. Ministry of Aviation, and this is for out of contract for the procurement and installation of communication equipment and ATC console in control towers of Zaria and Katsina. And this contract was awarded to Mrs. Banna Worldwide Solution Company Limited for the sum of 1,701,460,196 naira and 10 kobo. You will remember that last week when I briefed the press, I told you that the salary structures or wage structures were compartmentalized into 4. We had the COMPS, COMPPS, which is Consolidated Public Service Salary Scheme, as compartment 1. And we had compartment 2, Conres for Research Institute, Conhes for Health workers, Contis for the teachers, Conwas for university academics and workers. Then we had also Contis and Commerce for doctors. So that is the second category or second compartment. The third one is for the armed forces, security services, intelligence community, EFCC, National Financial Unit, Investigation Unit, and the rest of them all in that category. Then you have category 4, which is paramilitary, civil defense, immigration, road safety, and fire service.
The Federal Capital Territory Administration has inaugurated a public health laboratory for screening of foods and food items in the territory. Inaugurating the facility, the Acting Secretary and Director Administration and Finance, Health and Human Services Secretariat, Musa Abdurrahim, said that the Secretariat would work towards replicating such laboratory across the 6 area councils of the FCT. The statement signed by the Public Relations Unit, Samuel Musa, noted that Abdurrahim called on staff of the Secretariat to continue to put their best in the various departments adding that it was hard work that earned the Secretariat a recent award from the Joint Unions Action Committee, pledged that the HHSS would continue to give its support to public health whenever the need arose. Speaking earlier, the Director of Public Health, Dr. Okechukwu Josephine, said that the laboratory was aimed at preventing and controlling outbreak of foodborne diseases in the territory. She said that it was also aimed at ensuring that food served to the public is prepared under hygienic environment, especially in the food service establishment. She added that the inspection of foods and food items in the FCT falls under the purview of the Environmental and Occupational Health Division of the Public Health Department. She explained that the Public Health Laboratory was established in 2017 and had since been a source of revenue generation for the HHSS. According to her, a total of 10,321,600 billion naira was generated by the laboratory in 2017, while in 2018 it collected 24,752,700 naira and received 17,238,000 from January till September 2019. Kaduna State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC) says its operatives acting on intelligence reports have uncovered two more illegal rehabilitation centers in the state. The state deputy commandant of the Corps, Aloysius Onyema, said this while parading operators of the two centers and their 11 victims in Kaduna. Correspondent reports that the illegal rehabilitation centers are located in Limansi, Iya, and Marmara communities, both in Zaria local government area of the state.
These are operators of the illegal rehabilitation center in Zaria and their victims paraded by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense in Kaduna. According to the Deputy Commandant NSCDC, Kaduna State, Aloysius Onyema, the command raided the center on Tuesday to rescue the victims.
In bad conditions. One of them was under, or two of them were under chain when we came, and we have unlocked them for now. They are really in very bad situation. But the worst situation is that they are operating this rehabilitation center without approval. No information from anybody. They are just on their own doing what they want to do. They bring them, put them on chain, do whatever, I don't know, which with investigation, we will eventually dig up more facts.
Acting Governor of Kaduna State, Hadiza Balelebi, says the state government will ensure that the operators are brought to justice.
We're not stopping just like this. We will continually get all the people that are involved, free all the inmates.
One of the victims from Osun State narrates his ordeal.
Unfortunately, about a relative of mine that invited me here, that introduced me to Zaria. I said I should come over, that he promised me a job. That we will get here, that will promise me an IT. Like if I can come over and do my IT over here. And on that very day that this situation happened, I was in that very morning just said I should dress up, that we should go to the place of work. He promised me that the charge will come. So on getting there, I just took me to the one area, one compound there, because I didn't know the area. He just took me there, just took me to the house. I was like an unknown house there. I just saw the people there shackled, with shackles on legs, and I was like, before I could say anything, I was lured inside, I was hijacked, I was attacked by unknown personalities.
During the operation, 3 victims were found dead.
And the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has fixed November 30th for the Katsina State House of Assembly by-election for Sabuwa constituency seat. INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in the state, Jibrin Zariwa, said this on Wednesday while briefing newsmen on activities slated for the period before the poll. The seat became vacant following the death of the then lawmaker, Honorable Mustafa Abdullahi. Abdullahi 60 lost his life in a ghastly accident along Funtua Zaria Road on July 5. Before his death, the lawmaker was elected in 2015 and was re-elected in 2019. Although the election was supposed to have taken place 3 months after the seat was declared vacant, The exercise was, however, shifted to the new date due to the security situation in the council area. Zarawa said notice of election has been made public, while conduct of primaries by political parties, including resolution of disputes arising from the primaries, is expected to take place from the 24th to 6th in November. They said the deadline for submission of forms CF001, CF002, and nomination forms at INEC headquarters Abuja is scheduled between 6th to 8th of November, while publication form CF001 and list of nominated candidates is for 15th November. The Kasina Reg and said campaigns are to end 28 November, but that the Commission would allow for collection of permanent voter cards before the poll. It revealed that the constituency has 74 polling units, 63,435 registered voters, and 61,991 permanent voter cards collected, adding that 1,442 permanent voter cards were yet to be collected. Zarawa said that despite the area having security challenges, efforts would be made to secure lives of those to conduct the poll, including ad hoc staff and core members. And at the end of a two-day seminar on the preparedness of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for the November 16 governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states, the commission said the two elections would correct the mistakes in the 2019 general election and set a new standard for future elections. This is coming as stakeholders from Kogi and Bayelsa states have listed violence, vote buying, and manipulation of youths as some of the issues that would determine the outcome of the polls in the two states. Speaking on Tuesday, the chairman of the board of INEC's Electoral Institute, who is also a national commissioner, Solomon Soyebi, said the election will provide the commission with yet another opportunity to test run its policies, processes, and new initiatives. Since the conduct and outcome of the 2019 general election, the Commission has done a lot to reorganize and strengthen its processes, procedures, and systems for better performance. According to the INEC National Commissioner, although the conduct of the 2019 general election and the Commission's performance had some challenges, they can use the 2019 general election as a barometer for comparison with subsequent elections, including the Bayelsa governorship election. Clearly, the Commission is not under any illusion about the many issues and challenges posed by the electoral process. Shoibi said efforts would henceforth be made to further strategically reposition the Commission and strengthen its capability to deliver successful elections in Bayelsa and Kogi states, especially that they will serve as test case on lessons learned from the challenges at the 2019 general elections and improvement for the future. Another civil society group, Clean Foundation, this Wednesday in Abuja, released its report on the 2019 general elections in Nigeria. Clever TV's Joy Sekweyi, who was at the report presentation, says the foundation raised serious concerns on the conduct of the elections and wants lapses observed to be quickly addressed. Report.
Clean Foundation said it carried out 3 rounds of surveys to assess security threats to the 2019 general elections in the country. The primary objectives of the survey were to determine the factors and actions that could trigger violence during national elections. Presenting the report, the chairman Clean Foundation Board of Directors, Professor Atanibi Elamika, says the improper conduct and actions of the security agencies, Independent National Electoral Commission, media, politicians, and judiciary featured prominently as the most salient factors that need to be addressed. The chairman further outlined measures that could help tackle most of the observed election challenges.
We need a very comprehensive political electoral reforms which will enhance the evolution and consolidation of democratic culture and practices in the country. The next was that we need an extensive and continuous political education uh, of the citizens, of the politicians themselves, and party leaders and elected officials to enhance free, fair, and credible elections. We will need an electoral management and security broad, you know, bodies that is strengthened with relevant laws, capacities, competencies, and resources, so that they can make impartial and more efficient decisions.
Also, the executive director, Clean Foundation, Dr. Benson Oluwo, says the 2019 general elections had so many challenges, ranging from vote trading, election-related killing, logistics and operational challenges of INEC, amongst others. He further gave recommendations that could help curb similar experiences during the forthcoming governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states.
The general election witnessed deaths across some states during the presidential election, such as Rivers State, Akwa Ibom, Ebonyi, Kogi, and Zamfara states. The governorship elections also recorded killings in Rivers, Kogi, Imo, Akwa Ibom, Oyo, Ebonyi, Benue, and Enugu states. 5 persons were reportedly killed in the same locations in Kana local government, and 1 person in Ahoda West local government area, both of Rivers State, while in Benue, Kogi, and Katsina states recorded 2 deaths per state. The supplementary elections further compounded the scale of deaths with special focus on Kano and Benue states. Elsewhere, our observers reported cases of deaths of voters allegedly perpetrated at instances of political thugs and other unidentified criminals. These incidents and related discussions on election violence shows the need for lasting electoral reform that incorporate the use of technology and reduce contact amongst the electorates.
Since its inception in 1998, the CLEAN mission is to promote public safety, security, justice through empirical research, legislative advocacy, demonstration programs, and publications in partnership with government, civil society, and the private sector. Joy Esekoyi, reporting for Clearview Television.
A journalist and rights activist, Chido Numa, on Wednesday dragged the Department of State Security Services (DSS) to court over alleged illegal detention. In a suit filed by his lawyer Moses Ide at the Federal High Court, Abuja, Numa is seeking the enforcement of his fundamental human rights to dignity of his person, right to personal liberty, freedom of expression, and right to own personal property. The suit was brought pursuant to Section 34, 35, 39, 41, and 44 of the Constitution of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended. The Director General of the DSS, Yusuf Bichi, and the DSS itself are joined as first and second respondents. Onuma was said to have been arrested recently by DSS operatives at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and detained for several hours for wearing a T-shirt with the inscription "We are all here, friends." An Ugeli Magistrate Court has remanded a physically challenged man, Tife Samuel, and his accomplice Felix Victor in prison custody for allegedly forging an admission letter of Nigerian Defense Academy (NDA) Kaduna. The suspects had also allegedly conspired amongst themselves to defraud a woman, Doris Samson, of the sum of 1.5 million naira. According to the 5-count charge, the suspects are accused themselves to commit a felony and obtaining money under false pretense with intent to defraud their victim of the sum of 1.5 million naira. They were also accused of allegedly forging a National Population Commission certificate of birth and Abaji Area Council certificate of indigenship affixed with seal, signet, and stamp, and thereby committed an offense punishable under Section 467B of the Criminal Code Laws of Delta State of Nigeria, 2008. In her ruling, the presiding magistrate A.A. Edawo remanded the suspects in prison custody till November 5th, pending advice from the Director of Public Prosecution. You're watching Clearview Television News. More news to come after this timeout.
Ute. Let me give phone to Smally, make I follow up.
It's Wasil, your former driver.
Hey! Wasil! Video call! Oh, Mommy! With my Glow 4G, I can now upload my cars online, sell, and make plenty profit. Guess what they call me now, mommy? The new mega online car dealer.
Wasil! Straight now when the iron is hot.
See the man we won't be like Shaki. So I will come and meet you specially and bring one big one for you.
Why you won't see me?
Your daughter. I want to marry her. You know well, I've been wanting to know the Hello?
When Glow 4G dey your phone, confidence must dey body. Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your number one 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
You're welcome back. And on the foreign scene, at the stroke of midnight Tuesday, same sex marriage and abortion became legal in Northern Ireland. The UK Parliament had approved the legislation earlier this year. Until now, the region was the only part of the UK that did not allow same sex marriage, and it had the country's most restrictive abortion rules. With abortion now decriminalized, no criminal charges can be brought against women who seek abortion services or against healthcare workers who provide abortion or assist in one. All existing investigations and criminal prosecutions relating to abortions were also dropped on Tuesday. But the final legal framework for abortion would go into effect until the end of March 2020. As such, those seeking a surgical abortion still have to travel to other parts of the UK for the same time for the time being, while the British government will cover travel expenses. Medical assistance will be provided for those who seek an abortion using pills. And once the regulations are implemented next year, medical abortions will be provided on two hospitals sites in Northern Ireland. The legislation also mandates the same sex marriage regulations be put in place by January 13th. This is because UK couples have to indicate they are getting married at least 28 days before doing so. Reports say the first weddings are expected to be held in the week of Valentine's Day. And voters in Botswana head to the polls this Wednesday for crucial general elections in one of Africa's most stable democracies. Over 900,000 registered voters are expected to cast their ballots across the country to elect members of the National Assembly and, by extension, the president of the Southern African nation. The government declared October 23rd to 25th as public holidays to allow for full participation of citizens in the democratic process. President Eric Mogatesi Masisi is battling it out with three other candidates. The vote caps a busy election year for the Southern African region, which has witnessed elections in South Africa, Malawi, DR Congo, and earlier this month in Mozambique. The general election is expected to provide the first genuine challenge to the ruling Botswana Democratic Party in its 5 decades of dominance. Of Botswana's population of 2.2 million people, 924,000 registered voters will, e- will elect 57 National Assembly and 490 local government representatives. Polling is expected to close at 7 p.m. And Ethiopia's Nobel Prize winning Prime Minister warned Tuesday that if there's a need to go to war over a dam project disputed with Egypt, his country could muster millions of people. He, however, quickly added that only negotiation can resolve the current deadlock. Ahmed stressed that his country is determined to finish the dam project, which was initiated by former leaders, because it's an excellent one. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed spoke during a parliament question and answer session, his most prominent public appearance since winning the Nobel Prize on October 11. Ahmed and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi are expected to meet on the sidelines of a Russia-Africa summit in the Russian city of Sochi. A 43-year-old who was awarded the prize for sweeping political reforms and for making peace with longtime rival Eritrea after taking office last year, faced lawmakers' questions about a number of sensitive issues, notably the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. Talks collapsed earlier this month over the construction of the $5 billion dam, the largest in Africa, which is around 70% complete and is expected to provide much needed electricity to Ethiopia's 100 million people. Egypt, with a similar population, fears the Nile Dam will reduce its share of the river and leave the country with dwindling options as it seeks to protect the main source of fresh water. Egypt's government said in a statement it was shocked by Ahmed's remarks and called it inappropriate to talk about military options. It also said it has accepted a U.S. invitation for a meeting in Washington between the foreign ministers of the two countries, the Sudan, to break the deadlock. It is not clear when the meeting will take place. More than 20 African presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers, ministers, and other government representatives are currently in Sochi as the Russia Africa Forum begins in earnest. Among them are President Muhammad Buhari of Nigeria, Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, Yoweri Museveni, Uganda, Alpha Conde, Guinea, Felipe Nyusi, Mozambique, Paul Kagame, Rwanda, Mohamed Farmajo, Somalia, and Abdelkader Bentala of Algeria. The forum expected to run between October 23rd and 24th. Event is part of Moscow's ambitious push for influence and business in Africa. The Russians have by this move joined a field that includes the United States, China, Japan, and to a large extent the United Kingdom and France. For Moscow, the prize is greater political influence on a continent with 54 United Nations member states, sprawling mineral wealth, and potentially lucrative markets for Russian manufactured weapons. The world's largest wheat exporter, Russia is also looking to ramp up its supplies of grain and fertilizer to meet demand that is rising in step with Africa's booming population. You're watching Clearview Television News. Up next is sports.
Ute. Let me give phone to Smally make I follow up.
It's Wasu, your former driver.
Hey! Wasu! Video call! Oh, Kaka! Mommy! With my Glow 4G, I can now upload my cars online, sell, and make plenty profit. Guess what they call me now, mommy? The new mega online car dealer.
Wasu! Shut now when the iron is hot.
See the man we won't be like Shaki. Now I will come and meet you specially and bring one big one for you.
Why you won't see me?
Your daughter. I want to marry her.
You know what? I've been wanting to do it.
Hello?
When Glow 4G day of flow, confidence must stay body. Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your number one 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Jamaican juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
Hello and welcome to the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Ogutime Intoludakwa Ogutime. Chan and Beach Eagle veteran Ekechukwu Ibedegbu of Total CAF Confederation Cup 2019-2020 hopeful Rangers International FC has assured the club team and fans that the Nigerian seven-time league champions shall overcome the odds of Togolese current league champion ASC Kara to book a place in the group stage of the second-tier continental competition. Ibidegbu, who has seen many soccer battles on the continent with such clubs as Warri Wolves, Eyimba, and Heartland, in an interview ahead of Rangers' first leg playoff round of the competition, has stayed the King Lome, said that he and his teammates were well motivated to deliver the goods. Ibinegbu further said that the team was well motivated to go into this make or break encounter, stressing we are well motivated for this encounter as the management led by Davidson Owumi has been there for us, ensuring that all that is needed by the players was made available. We have a target and the Togolese side won't stand in our way towards achieving that target. Rangers will be hitting the tiny West African nation Togo for the CAF Confederation Cup 2019-2020 playoff round game against Association Sportive des Conducteurs de Kara, ASA Kara, scheduled for October 27, 2019 at the Togolese National Stadium, Stade de King Lome, while the return fixture is fixed for the Cathedral Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Enugu, a week later. The 2018-2019 Nigeria Women Premier League Super 4 has been scheduled for the Nigeria Women Football League to begin in Lagos on Tuesday, October 29, 2019, at the Soccer Temple, Agate Stadium, Lagos. According to the Chief Operating Officer of the NWFL, Alaji Ayob Abdurrahman, the four participating clubs, Adamawa Queens, Bayelsa Queens, Confluence Queens, and Rivers Angels, are expected to arrive in Lagos on Tuesday, October 29. The pre-match meetings press conference for the four teams comes up on Wednesday, October 30, 2019, while the official warm-up by the clubs has been fixed for Thursday, October 31st. The matches will begin on Friday, November 4th, 2019, with two games to be played. Saturday, November 2nd is rest day for all clubs, while the top place game and the final match have been fixed for Sunday, November 3rd, 2019. Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong has pledged support to Nigeria Ladies Golf Open Championship. Lalong made the pledge when the president of the Ladies Golf Association of Nigeria and the chairperson organizing committee paid him a courtesy visit at the governor's lodge in Abuja. The governor, in his remarks, captured his experiences while playing golf and some of the qualities of golf that everybody should emulate. It went further by giving them the assurance that it will be there on the opening day and to give them maximum support. The report. As part of the awareness campaign to herald the annual event, Ladies Golf Association of Nigeria, (ELGAN), led by its president, Elkaneme Kweme, and the company of the chairperson of the organizing committee, Julia Kadoli, who is the Director General of National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, led some members of the committee to visit the governor, soliciting for his support and asking him to take the official tee off for the event.
We have over 10 countries coming, Your Excellency, and we would love you, as usual, to support and also be there to play and probably challenge some of our very good ladies that are going to be playing during the tournament. And with me here are Able Chairman for the Open and the ladies from the planning committee to inform you of this championship.
The chairman organizing committee for the championship, Julia Kadoli, thanked the governor for seeing them at short notice while promising that they will deliver one of the best golf competitions in the world.
And as one of our serious and senior golfers in the house and a major stakeholder of the IBB club, we thought, it was very necessary for us to come to you as one of those who would be teeing off during the ceremonial tee to just tell you what our plans are for the program. And with us today are members who will introduce themselves, and then finally, President will brief you more. Thank you very much.
The governor, while receiving the president and chairman organizing committee for the event, assured the organizer of 2019 Nigeria Ladies Open Golf Championship of his total support to make the event a huge success.
Well, it's always my pleasure to participate and also contribute to golf in Nigeria. And like we will tell a lot of people that if those who are not playing golf, you won't know what you are missing. People always come when they are already aged, when age is not longer on their side. And even those of us who came to play, I said, I wish I was a caddy. I started as a caddy. But I'm not regretting anything in golf today, because in golf you meet a lot of people. In golf you do business. And above all, golf molds your thinking. And also, it will change you completely. Change you completely. So I want to assure you that I will be there. I will be there for you. You didn't need to come, but I'm sure you are only coming because you are recognizing that I'm also a golfer. So thank you very much for coming, and we'll look forward to that day. And I will do my contribution.
Players from more than 10 African countries have indicated their interest to participate in the championship. And that's it from the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimei Tololakwa Oguntimei.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
Now, a look at our top stories. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says the country is not in any way near a debt crisis despite owing $81.27 billion, representing about 24.947 trillion naira. A controversy trailing the recruitment of additional personnel into the Nigeria Police Force is yet to be laid to rest as candidates in parallel recruitment lists report for training at the Bauchi Police Training College. And we also told you that the UK Parliament has legalized same sex marriage and abortion in Northern Ireland. And that's the news. Remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel via Clearview TV, like us on Facebook via Clearview Television, follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online, follow us on Instagram at ClearviewTV_NG. You can also watch Clearview TV on night concert with a free to air decoder. For details, contact your local installer. I'm Prudence Okona, and thanks for watching.